everybody. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to start down here tonight, which we haven't done in over a year, but we've got a number of proclamations and people that are going to be here tonight. So we're going to start off with a roll call vote, and then we'll have an invocation and a pledge of allegiance. And so we'll just start with a roll call. Alderman Barnhill.
Here.
Alderman Martin.
Here.
Alderman Schroer.
Finally here.
Alderman Speedy.
Here.
Alderman McClendon.
Been here.
Alderman Blanton.
Here.
Alderman Peterson.
Here.
And Vice Mayor Berger.
Really here.
Really here, okay. Alderman Barnhill, lead us in invocation, and I'll lead the pledge.
Would you bow with me? Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight in prayer, thanking you for this opportunity that we have of meeting in this assembly. We know that there are many countries and many nations where these freedoms that we take for granted sometimes are not enjoyed. We give you the thanks for the opportunity of these meetings. We also ask your blessings upon those who protect our freedoms, whether they be the military, whether they be first responders, and be with them. We know that families a lot of times struggle when there's separation, and we ask that you be with those families. All of this we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Next item on the agenda is an opportunity for citizens to make comments for items that are not on the agenda. Our routine is that speakers fill out speakers cards, and I have none tonight, so I don't anticipate anybody speaking. I don't have any communications from the Williamson County Commission, but we now have approval of minutes, which would be the minutes from the work session and Board of Mayor and Alderman from April 27th, and the work session and Board of Mayor and Alderman May the 11th. I would entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Alderman Peterson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McClendon.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to recognitions, and the first recognition tonight has to do with Alzheimer's. And I'd ask that a guest with Alzheimer's Association to come up. Yeah, that'd be good. Buy some purple, or got on purple, and I think you got on purple things. Whereas Alzheimer's disease is a progressive neurodegenerative brain disorder, typically robs individuals of their memories and leads to progressive mental and physical impairments, and where there are known treatments to prevent, cure, or even delay the onset or slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease. And whereas an estimated 5.5 million people aged 65 and over have Alzheimer's disease, and another 200,000 people under age 65 have younger onset Alzheimer's disease. And whereas Alzheimer's disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States, and the 5th leading cause among the elderly, and the 3rd leading cause of death in Williamson County. And whereas, according to Alzheimer's Association Facts and Figures report, the direct cost of caring for these Alzheimer's to American society is valued at $244 billion, and more than 16 million caregivers provide more than 18.6 billion hours. That's a lot of numbers. 18.6 billion hours of unpaid care, those with Alzheimer's and other dementias in 2016. And in Tennessee, nearly 444,000 family members and friends cared for people with Alzheimer's and other dementias, providing 506 million hours of unpaid care with an annual value of $6.8 billion. And whereas in recognition of the individuals, families, friends, and caregivers dealing with Alzheimer's disease, the researchers are seeking a cause or cure whereas the City of Franklin recognizes the efforts of the Alzheimer's Association to raise funds and promote awareness to fight Alzheimer's disease and other dementias, thereby improving the quality of human life for those living with Alzheimer's disease and their caregivers. And whereas the month of June 2021 has been declared Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month to help spread global awareness of the Alzheimer's Association vision of imagining a world without Alzheimer's disease. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Franklin recognizes June 2021 as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month and urge all residents to wear purple to help spread global awareness of the Alzheimer's Association vision of imagining a world without Alzheimer's disease. Thank you for y'all's
You want up here?
It's like home. Follow directions.
I get that from Brandy.
You got a purple phone case.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Love you, Laura and Cassie.
We'll see you next year.
We'll be back.
I know you will. Okay, now we have a series of proclamations, and I've condensed them into one proclamation, and we'll recognize each group separately, however. And so this proclamation, whereas we realize that participation in organized athletics helps build character and teaches a wholesome sense of good sportsmanship among our youth, and whereas we really excel in any one sport, a young person must demonstrate, in addition to a great deal of natural ability, an outstanding spirit of dedication, enthusiasm, and hard work. And whereas Centennial High School junior varsity cheerleaders, Centennial High School varsity cheerleaders, Franklin High School cheerleaders, Poplar Grove Middle and Woodland Middle School competition cheerleaders all competed at the 41st Annual National High School Cheerleading Championships held at Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex. And whereas they were awarded the National Championship Trophy, the National Championship banner, and individual gold medals, and the coveted National Champions white jackets. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Ken Moore, do hereby call on the citizens of the City of Franklin to congratulate these talented young women for achieving this honor. So, we have Centennial High School junior varsity.
Ken, you don't mind getting your picture taken in that?
It makes me look good.
Yeah, it does.
A lot of cheerleaders around me.
That'd be neat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Centennial High School.
I'm the coach. I coach varsity.
What's your name?
Melissa. We're excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
Is Kevin directing traffic
No,
out
they
there?
were out there.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't know
Centennial
they were
High
out
School.
there.
Maybe get 2 rows so one on each way.
Yeah, there you go. I'll be behind.
And Franklin High School.
Charge admission tonight.
What's that?
Charge admission tonight. Oh, they got their jackets on.
They got the coveted white jackets. All right. Do another line. Yeah. Great job.
And Braxton.
Poplar Grove, Poplar Grove. The order is Poplar Grove. Okay.
Braxton. Come up closer to get a picture. You're good? Okay. Thank you. Now we have Poplar Grove.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah. All right. Nice. We got a lot of photos to take here. Oh yeah. Get your pictures. Good job. Yeah. Gotta get closer, you gotta get up, yeah.
This is Woodland Middle.
Well, they don't cheer.
I thought it was all.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Really, it's cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations, girl. You got it? Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a wrap. Thanks for coming.
How about the consent agenda then? All items under the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing body. And tonight, we're considering items number 21 through 25. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank you, Alderman Martin. Is there a second? Alderman Barnhill, thank you. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McClendon.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor
Yes.
Berger.
Yes.
Oh, good, thank you. Passes unanimously. We'll now
I
go
said it too
to
fast.
new business. This is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2021-47, consideration of initiating the annexation process and draft plan of services for the annexation of 4325 Long Lane. Go ahead, Joey.
Thank you. Good to see everyone here tonight. The property being considered is at 4325 Long Lane between Alfred Ladd Road and Crothers Parkway. It is contiguous to the city limits and is within the city's urban growth boundary. It is within the regional commerce design concept as defined by Envision Franklin, which states that these concept areas should transition in intensity and scale across this design concept. Higher intensity uses should be located closer to the I-65 interchanges and major thoroughfares, with less intensive uses transitioning to established residential areas. The draft plan of services details no major concerns in providing infrastructure and services to the property. With that, staff recommends approval of Resolution 2021-47. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Move approval.
Yeah, public hearing.
Any public comments? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to, the public hearing is closed. I entertain a motion. Alderman Schroer.
Move approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McClendon.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Thank you. Number 9, this is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2021-48, consideration of initiating the annexation by referring the process and draft plan of services for 4432 Pratt Lane.
Thank you. The city has received an annexation request for a property in the Goose Creek Basin that is located outside of the UGB at 4432 Pratt Lane. Map of the property is attached in your materials. Annexation cannot occur until referendum has been held where a majority of the property owners requesting annexation vote to have their property annexed by the city. This resolution authorizes the request to Williamson County Election Commission to hold a referendum on October 26th of this year in conjunction with the Franklin municipal election. A full timeline of the annexation by referendum is available in your materials. Draft plan of services has been prepared by staff and attached as well for you to review. Because the property to be annexed is located outside of the UGB, staff recommends an additional zoning of the state residential until Envision Franklin can be updated to evaluate the most appropriate land uses for the property should it be annexed. The property is within close proximity to other parcels that were annexed into the city limits in 2020 and partially fills a donut hole created by past annexations. One thing to consider is that the request initially included a property at 4448 Campbell Road. However, that property owner has withdrawn that initiation request. With that in mind, staff recommends approval of Resolution 2021-48. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Anyone wants to speak to this body? If not, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Schroer. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McClendon.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 10, this is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2021-58, consideration of initiating an annexation by referendum process and draft plan of services for 110 Spencer Creek Road and 112 Spencer Creek Road and 2021 Old South Berries Chapel Road.
I haven't met you guys in person. I actually did a presentation last time. My name's Chelsea Randolph. I'm the new planner. I've been here for about 6 months now. So, as stated, an annexation request has been received for 3 properties, 110 and 112 Spencer Creek Road and 2021 South Berries Chapel Road near the Fieldstone Commercial Node. The properties do not fall within the growth priority areas, but are adjacent to long-term capability area of Central Franklin Basin. The long-term designation was assigned because the only remaining areas not annexed are single-family in nature, and it's an established subdivision. Staff recommends an initial zoning of estate residential until Envision Franklin can be updated with appropriate uses for the area. The applicant intends to build single-family residential homes. A draft plan of services was included in the packet for tonight's meeting. The plan identified that the analysis of the existing sewer and the limited connectivity may be a limiting factor for the density of the proposed development. In addition, due to it being located outside the city's urban growth boundary, we have not mapped the natural features for the flood fringe overlay, the floodway overlay, and the land within 500 feet of the hillside hillcrest overlay. This will be done if the properties are annexed into the city. Annexation cannot occur until a referendum has been held. The attached resolution authorizes the request to Williamson County Election Commission to hold a referendum on October 26, 2021. A full timeline of the annexation by referendum is attached as an exhibit with this request. Staff supports further investigation of this potential annexation request due to its proximity to city limits and accessibility to existing city infrastructure. And staff recommends that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen approve Resolution 2021-58. This concludes my presentation. I'm available if you have any questions.
Does anyone want to speak to this body? Seeing nobody, I declare the public hearing closed. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Is there a second? Seconded by Alderman Blanton. Any discussion? Ready to vote?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So-
Alderman Vice Mayor Berger.
This property, as you said, is totally located outside the UGB?
Yes, ma'am. It is outside of the urban growth area.
Has there been any discussion at all with the county on this, or, I don't know why we automatically consider something outside the urban growth boundary. Is this had more of a discussion?
It's driven by property owner request. That's
Right.
how the law works now. So,
Exactly, but that doesn't mean that we have to approve that. I'm just, this is out of the UGB, but it is contiguous to the city limits as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you speak to the sewer basin in that area as well, as far as sewer capacity a little bit more?
So
Someone?
I may not be able to address that. Amy may be able to
Alright.
help with that a little bit more.
I see it's adjacent to the Central Franklin Basin.
So, and actually Water Management could do a better job at this, but my understanding is.
Amy, can you speak in the mic a little bit?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, thank you.
Thanks.
It's my understanding that the adjacent neighborhood is on a special assessed district, and that this land would be tied to that. There's enough capacity on the initial assessment of it, but that a further study was suggested in the packet from our water management department, just to ensure that there's enough capacity. So we do own that sewer special assessment area. The county put it in, it is our, and turned it over to us, so it is our sewer. It's just serving county residents today. And so by tying in, it would be tying into a city sewer. Now, there is, so part of the Chelsea's presentation did say that because of the topography, how they would have to put the gravity sewer in and the topography of the area may limit how many lots they can get, depending on how the gravity has to fall to feed back to the system.
Well, it says 60 acres, but it doesn't give us any indication of possibilities of numbers here.
Well, because
Or did I miss
this is the annexation initiation. We haven't got that information
So you
yet.
wouldn't have any idea on that?
We just know that they want to do single family, so that does fall in line with what, well, no, I'm sorry, this isn't even in our, this is not in Envision Franklin, so we don't know how we would recommend development here. And so that's something you should consider. You know, once we annex it, like Chelsea said, we would zone it to a state residential, because that's as similar of what they have today. And then we would revise Envision Franklin to look at the property, study it, provide it with a design concept of what we would recommend, and then they could come back with development after that.
So if we vote for this, then it goes to referendum, but we would automatically zone it estate residential. They would have to come to us, and we would have to make a decision if we wanted to change that zoning or keep it estate residential,
Correct.
according to what plans they would bring us.
What was that last part?
According to what plans they would bring us for what they wanted to do
Correct.
there.
Right.
So
You
we would either
review-
stay with the estate as residential or rezone it at that time. I understand that. So it would come in as state residential, okay.
Mr.
Right.
Mayor, if I could say,
Go ahead,
if you look, Fieldstone Parkway kind of stops where that is. I mean, it's directly adjacent, I mean, the big part of it is directly adjacent to Fieldstone.
It is, yeah.
It is, and that right-of-way is dedicated, but not yet improved. You can see where, like you said, the cul-de-sac ends. So that would have to be installed.
That would be required at some point if that development took place?
Yes, they would have to extend that road.
That sounds like a nightmare for the ward alderman.
You care.
You'll be gone, it won't matter.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McClendon.
Oh, yeah.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 11, public hearing. This is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2021-59. Consideration of initiating the annexation process and draft plan of services for the annexation of 4416 Paytonsville Road.
As stated, this is an annexation initiation request for 4416 Paytonsville Road by the owner of the property, which is the city of Franklin. This property is located east of the intersection of Long Lane and Paytonsville Road near the recently developed City of Franklin's Fire Station Number 7. This property is within the city's urban growth boundary and is contiguous to the city limits. This property is within the short-term capability of Goose Creek Basin and within the design concept of regional commerce. There's currently no proposed development for the site, and the attached draft plan of services details no major concerns. Staff supports annexation of 4416, annexation initiation of 4416 Paytonsville Road, and recommends that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen approve Resolution 2021-59. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Okay, does anybody want to make any public comments? Seeing no one, we'll declare the public hearing closed. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Is there a
Second.
second? Is that Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Thank you for the second. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McGlindan.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 12, consideration of ordinance 2021-09, an ordinance to rezone 28.91 acres from agricultural district to neighborhood commercial district for the property located south of Goose Creek Bypass and east of Goose Creek Drive, establishing a public hearing for June 22nd, 2021. Is there a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Schroer. Any discussion? Alderman Peterson.
You know, this is the part where our staff has said that they would have to reroute the county road to Goose Creek Estates, so that it would go through here and then connect up to Captain Freeman Parkway. And it's something different that we have not seen.
And would result in a signalized intersection for that
Right.
neighborhood, which they do not have currently.
But how far is it from where the road is right now to where it would have to be moved to? I mean, I'm just asking a question.
Do you have that information, the distance?
No, I apologize, we'll have to measure it.
Okay, we'll get it back to you. And we'll have that at the public hearing.
It's not a real long distance, but yeah, we'll get you specific.
Any other comments or questions? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McGlindan.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
No.
And Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Passes 7-1. Item 13, consideration of ordinance 2021-14, an ordinance to amend the budget of the city of Franklin for FY 2021, establishing a public hearing for June the 8th, 2021. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Blanton, second by Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McGlindan.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. Item 14, consideration of ordinance 2021-15, an ordinance of the city of Franklin, Tennessee, adopting a budget for the FY 2021-22, providing an effective date, establishing a public hearing for June the 8th, 2021. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Thank you, Alderman Shores. Is there a second? Thank you, Alderman Martin. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McGlindan.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Next is consideration of ordinance 2021-16, an ordinance of the city of Franklin establishing a municipal property tax levy for the FY 2021-22, providing effective date, establishing public hearing for June the 8th, 2021. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Blanton, for the second. Any discussion?
But we do need to say this is based on the reappraisal.
And we did receive late last week the updated certified property tax rate, which is 32.61 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. So that's a reduction about 9.15 cents from the current rate.
Any other comments? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McGlindan.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 16, consideration ordinance 2021-17, an ordinance of the city of Franklin, Tennessee to amend Appendix A, comprehensive fees and penalties, Chapter 17, refuse and trash disposal, of the Franklin Municipal Code to increase the fees for collection of garbage and refuse, establishing a public hearing for June the 8th, 2021. Is there a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Schroer. Any discussion?
I have one thing to say.
Go ahead, Alderman Martin.
This is just an item I've heard from residents that feel that this is something that their taxes ought to pay for. And I'm not saying I'm voting against it, but I just wanted to mention that fire and police and garbage are what they feel that we should pay for with our taxes.
Tell Alderman Cladd I said hi.
You've taken me away from where I thought I was.
I don't know where we are.
I think we have a motion, and I think we have a second, and we had one comment and a secondary comment, so we're ready to vote.
Clyde, you gonna address that?
Do I want to address that? Sure, you can raise your property taxes or whatever if you want to. You can offset it that way. We've chosen to treat this kind of as an enterprise fund, quite like water and sewer. And that's the reason that the rate is what it is, and that's the reason that you can have a 9.1% property tax rate reduction is because we don't pull from the general fund to subsidize what we consider to be an enterprise fund. Correct?
Right, and about 13 years or so ago, it was about $4.5 million worth of general fund
Yeah.
taxes that went in to support that. And even then, that didn't support all of it. But we've moved with your policy direction towards it being a self-sufficient fund, which it has been the last few years. So it's a policy choice that you can make. We do run it like an independent, try to run it more like an independent business unit, and that's how we've approached it.
Mayor, my comment, funny as it was serious. Alderman Clatt used to advocate that we do that because then you could take it off your income tax.
Correct.
And there's something to be said for that. So, I mean, but it's going to cost you the same. You're not going to get your garbage picked up for less.
No.
It's just whether or not your property tax bill goes up dollar for dollar the same amount, then you can put it on your income tax and whatever that saves you, then, well, fine, but that's the point.
Well, and, Mayor, if I'm quick, people have different, some people have 3 or 4 different bins. They have one bin, they pay more based upon how much their service is. And if it were a tax rate, if it were just, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you're getting what you, I think it's one of the things that's appropriate because people's requirements are different. With police and fire, it's a whole different scenario. And so, as you know, and that's why we do water and sewer that way. You use more water, you need more sewer. I think it's appropriate. And when I was mayor, I know Clyde and I talked about this a lot, trying to make this an enterprise fund so that it would break even, and we were a long way off. And so
Yes.
I think we've reached a huge goal, and you save $15 on your taxes for a year, but it's well worth it. I think it's how we should run this city. You get what you pay for, and you pay for what you use.
Yes.
Good comments. Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McClendon.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Okay, item 17, ordinance 2021-18, an ordinance of the City of Franklin, Tennessee to amend Appendix A, Comprehensive Fees and Penalties, Chapter 23, Stormwater Management of the Franklin Municipal Code to increase the equivalent residential unit rate, establishing a public hearing for June 8, 2021. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Martin. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Martin. I'm sorry, Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McClendon.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. Item 18, this is a resolution 2021-97, authorizing the pre-ordering of equipment prior to the commencement of the new fiscal year. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank you, Alderman Peterson. Is there a
Second, Mayor.
second? Second, Alderman Barnhill. Any comments or questions? We'll vote then. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McClendon.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
And Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Okay, item 19, Resolution 2021-88, a resolution declaring the city will adopt the second-year annual action plan for community development block grant funding for the city of Franklin, Tennessee. Is there a motion?
So move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Blanton. Any discussion?
Is-
Ready to vote?
Is this money,
All-
question, the block grant, is this the money that goes to improving properties?
Correct.
All right, got it. Thanks.
Alderman Barnhill, how do you
Yes.
vote? Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McClendon.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Then item number 20 is consideration of Resolution 2021-92, a resolution to rescind resolution establishing Liberty Hills Pond as a regional stormwater detention facility. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to defer this to June 22nd. I'm still working with the residents there, and we've discovered some information that I want to study, and I want to have some additional meetings with them. So, yeah, okay. So I'd like to make that deferral for June 22nd, please.
Second.
Alderman Blanton, thank you for the second. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McClendon.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved. Second.
Thank you, Alderman McClendon, and seconded by the Vice Mayor. Alderman Barnhill, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman McClendon.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We're going into executive session.
Couple of all snack dinners here.
Got it.
For years and years, generations and generations. And then you clean out ponds.
Well, it builds up, and then pretty soon it gets, like, you go up to a foot or two, and it's just water.
What did they used to do?
And then they
Okay.
just run out all over the.
Are there any matters to, no matters to consider from executive session? There is a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Alderman Blanton. Let's vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Schroer.
Yes.
Alderman Speedy.
Yes.
Alderman Clendon.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Berger.
Yes.
We are adjourned. Passes unanimously.